If you're here to learn more about the power of social media to inspire an audience, you are in the right place. My name is Molly Dennehy, and my guests today are from Pinterest. Please welcome Allison McConaughey, Automotive Partner Manager, and Eitan Atias, Automotive Sales Manager. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I can't wait to learn more about Pinterest.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having us.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to start today's conversation with a little bit of a background on the platform. I know it's been around for over a decade because I've been a user for just about that long. I love actually seeing the progression of my pins and the content as time has gone by, and it's almost like the platform has gone through my life stages with me. But let's explore with our viewers today how the platform has evolved and what makes it unique in today's social media mix.
Sure, I'm happy to take that. So, as you mentioned, and first, thanks again for having us. We're excited to talk Pinterest and social media. As you mentioned, Pinterest has been around for over 10 years. So I think 11 years, maybe heading into 12 years, in 2022. And it really started just as a digital pin board. So if you think about, people used to kind of like clip things out of magazines, put them up on their pin boards, and sort of visualize all of their interests, like where they wanted to go, kind of curate their interests on a physical pin board. Pinterest really was the first sort of digital version of that. And it really has evolved, quite rapidly. So if you think about, um, where we're going now is really about, how do you take some of these things and be able to shop from them, or how do you actually start to connect with other people around similar interests? And as you point out, I think one of the biggest ways that people have really used Pinterest over the last 10, 12 years is through all of their life events. So having a baby, getting married, moving into a new home, and just all of the ways that you really think about like visualizing that future. And the way we say it is like Pinterest is the best version of yourself. It's not just what you want to buy, but it's really who you want to be. And that's really the embodiment of Pinterest. It's all about getting new ideas, getting inspiration, and sort of curating your life in one place and trying to make it come to fruition.
I love that. Trying to be the best version of yourself. Because that's true. I mean, I feel like people really come to Pinterest to be inspired. It's a very positive experience, which is really unique in today's social media mix. So I also feel like users are more in a decision making mindset, or like you said, a product purchasing mindset, that they're more likely to want to add something to their lives or seeking inspiration rather than just connecting with friends or swiping through photos. So I'd love to explore a little bit more about your user demographics and behavior.
Sure. So we have a very broad reach. We reach over 100 million people in the US every single month, half of millennials and Gen Z. We reach people who are in market for new vehicles, as well as people who are planning for those life moments like Eitan mentioned before. And the really great opportunity for dealers around life moments is that life moments actually correlate with new car purchase behavior. So when you're cycling through a life moment, like buying a new home or getting married or having a baby, you're actually about 2 times more likely to be in market for a new vehicle. And the power of Pinterest is that people are coming to our platform and planning for those moments. So they're literally telling us, like, hey, I'm planning for this baby, I'm planning for this wedding, giving dealers the opportunity to get their advertising and their communication in front of a consumer while they cycle through that life moment.
That's awesome. Really thinking about it, you don't think, oh, it's I want to get married or have a children. You don't naturally think the next step is to get a car, but it really makes sense. I love how that lines up. So it sounds like this is a really, really great opportunity for auto dealers to connect with their local communities and start inspiring people who are in all different life stages. So tell me a little bit more about that opportunity, especially with some of like the tools and the unique insights that Pinterest offers.
Yeah, I guess we'll just kind of go back and forth here. So I'll take this one. I think that's right, in terms of reaching people maybe earlier than on other platforms. So if I'm just, again, if you're going through life moments, if you're moving or if you're having a baby, it might not be the natural thought like, oh, I need a new car, but maybe you're more open-minded to just seeing, oh, here's a new vehicle that could actually be right for us, or we do need a bigger vehicle, or now I'm thinking more about safety or technology features or whatever it is. And so if you think about, from an auto perspective, but especially from a dealer perspective in a local community, the opportunity to understand sort of what someone is going through in their life or what they're planning for and just sort of naturally fit into that. It's kind of funny. You think about like maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, and people would walk into a dealership, right? The customers, the ups. The first thing that a dealer is going to try to do is size them up, figure out like what's bringing them in here today. Are they pushing a stroller? Is it, a big family? Is it just a newly married couple? They're going to ask all these questions to try to figure out what features are important and what's your budget and all of these things, right? So a dealer naturally is always trying to size up the customer, get as many questions and answers to try to make the best deal or get them the right vehicle. And all of those things are happening on Pinterest already. So you already understand their interests, their life moments, like the things that they might be looking for, if they've saved other vehicles, what features might be important. And so kind of a long way of just saying what you're trying to do in the offline world as a dealer to get the right vehicle or the right message to a consumer is just sort of simplified or digitally made more easy on Pinterest, where it just sort of fits in that creative message kind of fits right into everything else that they're planning.
That I love what you said there. Like it's the creative message that taps into your life. So, what are some ways that your Pinterest creative, or organically or through paid ads, can tap into this new lifestyle or this, you know, special events, or maybe they're planning a trip? Or what are some ways that we can really align our creative, organically or paid, with Pinterest strategy?
Sure. There's many ways to find success on the platform. So in terms of creative units, we typically stick with either static pins or ads, as we call them, or video. Video works very well on our platform. Video has really taken off in the past few years. So we always encourage our dealers to utilize video if they have it available. And then it comes down to pairing targeting and aligning it with your business objective to make that creative really shine on the platform. So if you're looking to push new vehicle sales to new parents, it's really important to showcase why that vehicle would be a great fit for a new family. So maybe it's around a hands-free feature, so that a busy parent can easily load their child into that vehicle. Or perhaps it's around enhancing someone's lifestyle. This past year we saw the new Bronco launch. And so many of our Ford dealers took that beautiful new Bronco creative, aligned it with outdoor interest targeting on the platform, and saw really great success. So we always recommend to our dealers, let's take a look at the assets you have available. Let's take a look at what you're trying to drive results for. And then we can make a strategy and targeting recommendation based on that.
It's kind of like getting back to the essence of marketing and advertising, of really aligning your ads and your creative and your content with the interests of your audience. And I think Pinterest allows this to really come through and shine in a really cool way with your targeting capabilities through keywords and just some of the really cool features that the platform offers.
Yeah, and I'll just even add to that a little bit. I think this is, we talked about 10 minutes ago about like what kind of makes Pinterest different, that it's more, let's say, like personal media rather than social media, right? So it's not really news, politics, messages, opinions. It's really just you're there for yourself. You're looking for products and ideas that you want to put into your life. And I think what's really interesting is the natural behavior, like the primary behavior on Pinterest is to save a pin, right? So it's not just about liking something or sharing it. It's really, I'm saving this into where I want my future to be. So even from an auto or dealer perspective, maybe they're not ready to buy today or tomorrow, but they discover that vehicle or they discover your dealership and they say, oh, you know what? I know in a couple of months this might be relevant for me. So let me just save it into one of my boards, or kind of save it into my pin board. And it allows you to kind of keep a connection with that customer over time. So I think that is just like another distinction as we talk about this in terms of like overall social media, the half-life of your presence, right? Like a tweet or something else might only last for a few minutes, a few hours at best,
Or
but on
less.
Pinterest, or last seconds, right? Like I think some platforms, you snap something, it's gone a few seconds later. On Pinterest, the idea is really you're saving content. And so it just lasts. You're kind of making a much more long-term connection with a prospect or customer when they're actually saving your idea into where they want their life to go.
I mean, talk about like a full funnel strategy. It's not just about trying to convert leads or in market shoppers at the bottom of your funnel. Your Pinterest really allows you to influence your high level and build that brand awareness and really that brand trust too. So I think in talking about a full funnel strategy, even a omni-channel, multiple channel strategy, Pinterest really lives in, like you just said, creating those long lasting relationships, creating a raving fan that's probably going to last longer than just the immediate sale.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's an inspiration platform. And so at the end of the day, like if you can be that sort of spark of inspiration, you're definitely kicking off a full funnel journey all the way down to hopefully selling a vehicle or that kind of shopping moment at the very end.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit about organic content too, especially when it comes to local businesses. What are some ways that auto dealers can use Pinterest to organically connect with their local community? And is that really a big focus for users who are on the platform with wanting to be local than just looking for inspiration outside of that?
Yeah, great question. So we actually saw in 2020 a huge uptick in search behavior from pinners looking to support their local businesses. So having an organic presence on the platform is very important and can be incredibly valuable to all advertisers, but specifically dealers. So we always recommend that a dealer starts by opening up their business profile. The process takes about 3 minutes and it's completely free. And that gives them basically a page on the platform in order to either run ads from or also have an organic presence on. So we see the most power when a dealer has that full funnel strategy in place, which includes organic materials. We know that many dealers are the cornerstones of their community. They do a lot of charity work and community give back. And so it's a really great place to promote and to share that type of content. As we mentioned before, Pinterest is a positive platform, rooted around inspiration. So what better place to share all of that great work than on Pinterest? And then over time, you slowly build up that community, that following on your page, and that only enhances your paid advertising down the road.
So speaking of enhancing our advertising, let's talk about what does good look like? Like what kinds of tools or insight does the ad platform provide? And maybe what kind of metrics should dealers be looking at to say, hey, this campaign was a great success, or we need to beef this up a little bit?
Yeah, I could start and just kind of quickly say, that the truth is like Pinterest in the dealer space is still relatively new. So I would say we've been working with dealers for less than 2 years. I know a lot of the other social platforms have been a decade plus at this point. And so in a lot of ways, I think we're still very early days, which is exciting. It gives us a lot of opportunity, but we're also still learning what good really does look like. And as our platform evolves and the formats evolve and we continue to bring on new dealers, I think what good looks like will keep actually getting better, so to speak. But we know that, for example, one of the things that we're excited about is starting to roll out vehicle inventory feeds on Pinterest. So this is a brand new sort of area starting in 2022, but that might change what good looks like, as an example. One of the things that we're seeing now, just kind of a few, examples of what good could look like, and Allison touched on this a little bit, is one, aligning to lifestyle. So making sure that you're showing your vehicles or what your dealership stands for, sort of like in good visual imagery or good video. And then in terms of just some of the tools, and Allison, maybe talk about some measurement or sort of metrics, but some of the tools, we understand what people's interests are on Pinterest. We understand, again, like what they're saving, what they're searching for. And so typically, I hate to use the word algorithm, but it's the truth, will help your creative get in front of the right people based on what they're interested in. So you don't necessarily, as a dealer or a store, have to do a lot of the hard work or the thinking. Like the platform does a lot of the thinking for you. You just have to have the right assets in place. You need to know what your objective is, what message you're trying to get across. and then we can make sure we actually do the hard work of getting it in front of the right people.
Yeah, and just to add on there, we've heard from many of our dealers that they're starting to see CPAs creep up on other platforms due to data loss and other changes in the ad tech space. And the great thing is on our platform, we're not seeing that. We're still seeing incredibly efficient CPAs. We have the ability for dealers to upload their recently sold lists or a repair order list if they're running a service campaign and match back vehicle sales or repair orders to ad exposure on that platform to really prove out that cost per acquisition and to define a ROAS on the campaign. So we have a lot of robust tooling available for dealers to really define what success looks like for them on the platform. And all of the feedback that we've received over the past 2 years is that, our metrics are in line or beating other platforms.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. I think something that you just said was kind of really perked my interest was like being able to upload those customer lists. And what better way to maintain that lifelong relationship, create that culture of raving fans, than to continually reach out and support and influence our current customer database. So it's really cool to hear that we can do that through Pinterest. And I think it would be a great platform to really nurture that relationship based on their interests and based as their lifestyle changes goes along.
Absolutely. Yep. We have full capabilities for dealers to upload their CRM data into the platform for use on, match back on sales or to create new audiences and retargeting audiences. So they have lots of capabilities there.
Sweet. Great. Well, you guys, thank you so much. This has been an awesome conversation. I know I've learned a lot. Thank you again, Allison and Eitan, for your time and your positivity and your passion for Pinterest. Everyone watching, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, please let us know, but stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you again, Allison and Eitan. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Molly. Appreciate it. You too.
Thank you.